Well, I had gotten an email from a colonel in the Army back in 2008 or 2009. And it was a story about a woman who had been raped and then later found dead in her room. And they labeled it a suicide. So the story went on to say that the family and other people found this very suspicious. They didn't believe it was a suicide. They thought it was retaliation for her reporting her rape. So that gave me a little bit more ammunition to start writing about. And then I did a lot of research on how many women are actually raped, how many report it, et cetera. Then it was hard to figure out, well, how do I tell the story? It's one thing, okay, now I know that this happens, but how do I tell it? So there were a lot of beginnings and some bizarre iterations. The story is now, it's not just about this one family, it's about two families. And basically, one family wants to find out what really happened to the daughter and the sister. And the family the mother that they find doesn't want to know what really happened. She just doesn't want to know the truth. But she's also dealing with the son that returned from Iraq with PTSD. But, this is a story that needs to be told. And one thing that I did put in the script was that I said anybody that did this as a reading or a production, I really would hope that they have a talk back. So people are able to find out, number one, what can they do about this? And number two, have the courage to report it, because so many of these rapes are not reported. And military or anywhere, nobody wants to report a rape. And it does take courage to report a rape. So in this case, in this story, it is the retaliation. It is that these women that had the courage to go ahead and report their rape, somehow they were murdered. And yet it was called a suicide. So it's a sad story. And I hope that people are able to deal with it and then act on it. I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. Because it's the same, whether it's the military or your workplace. It's, when you're the victim, you are a double victim because you're speaking out and then you're ostracized or victimized because you spoke up about something that you're not supposed to talk about. And you'll get people in trouble. People could lose their job because you spoke up. And then they try to say that you're a liar, it didn't really happen.
So Jenny is an 18-year-old young woman. She comes from Southern Ohio, from a very loving, supportive family, but they are not the wealthiest in the world. So when deciding how she's going to pay for college, she ultimately decides to enlist. It is 2007, and she is going from Ohio to Fort Hood to Iraq. Jenny starts the show out very naive. She sees the best in the world. She can't really imagine anything bad happening. After 4 months of being deployed in Iraq, Jenny is assaulted by a superior officer. And she really has to come to terms with whether or not she'll report her assault and unfortunately, what the consequences will be of her reporting. And another part of her journey is building this strong relationship with the character Sam, which empowers her.
Hey, I'm Sean Lim, and I'm playing Joshua Lehman in This Will Defend. Joshua's a veteran from the Army, and he suffers from PTSD, and he's gone through a lot of different very traumatic experiences. He's trying to find a reason to get better. So for me, one of takeaways was really doing the research in the initial stages of rehearsals and learning about the different types of PTSD that veterans and their families suffer, be it sexual trauma or be it combat-related PTSD, and really understanding how this could affect them. It's a heavy play, but I hope that this play stimulates a lot of important thoughts and important awareness of veterans in the military, and we hope you come and see the show.
Wife, mother of 2, we adopted them. Husband has his own company, is well-to-do. We married when we were young. We found out that we couldn't have kids, so we adopted. So the huge aha moment that I had while working on this show is the power in women coming together and speaking up for themselves and speaking up for each other. And the more stories that we have like this to share, we can all grow from them. And my hope is that someday we will grow beyond these prejudices and the differences between male and female. I hope that the audience sees a story about real people where pain exists, and through the pain there is great love on the other side.